How many car engines in the world do you think have passed 1,000,000 kilometers? I don't know either, but these 11 classic Mercedes engines crossed that mark long ago and are still standing. They are a true marvel of engineering. In this video, you will witness 11 classic Mercedes engines that have surpassed 1,000,000 kilometers. The cars in which these engines were used went down in history as legends of their era. If you are new to the channel, I prepare classic Mercedes videos here just for you. If you are a Mercedes enthusiast or a classic car lover, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about those videos. Lean back, grab your tea or coffee, and enjoy the video. Let's start with the first engine, the M102 four-cylinder engine. Introduced by Mercedes in the 1980s, this engine was produced for the economy series, so nobody expected anything extraordinary from it. However, a taxi fleet in Germany used the cars equipped with this engine for many years, and each car covered approximately 1,200,000 kilometers. To put that number into perspective, think of this. Circling the globe 30 times, a single design decision extended the life of the M102 engine this much. This engine used a cast iron cylinder block. When the owners brought it in for service, mechanics looked at the engine and found zero piston wear. On top of that, these cars were operating in the most demanding working condition of all, city traffic. The M102 engine did not cause a single problem even there. One fleet manager waited years to retire those cars, and when he finally did, they were still running. The engine never forced his hand. He left on his own terms. You can consider this engine a legend, but there are bigger names on the list. Those names are truly legendary. The second model, the OM601 diesel engine. When you talk about diesel engines, the name Mercedes is always in the room. The OM601 is one of the cornerstones of that reputation. A family in Spain used a car with this engine for over 30 years. The engine oil was changed on time, the timing belt was taken seriously, and the engine reached 1,400,000 kilometers. The car was donated to a museum and caught the attention of collectors. The secret of the OM601 engine was the absence of electronic sensors and delicate electrical connections. A fully mechanical system was used, and such a system is very easy to repair. Sometimes you do not need complicated things to last a long time. The person who kept the maintenance log for that family's car was a retired teacher. After every service, he recorded the date, the mileage, and the work done in a notebook. The notes from over 30 years filled more than 200 pages. The OM601 ran through every single one of those pages without making a sound. The third model, the OM616 diesel engine, another diesel engine, but this one took simplicity to a different level. This engine was produced for mid-range cars, but became more famous through taxis. The taxis equipped with this engine were operated for more than 20 hours a day in the Middle East during the 1970s and 80s. A car recorded in the United Arab Emirates had surpassed 1,800,000 kilometers, and the remarkable part was that the engine still had its original parts. When the owner parted with it, he told journalists that he was not parting with the car, but with the engine, and that those were two different things. This had become a philosophy, and that engine held a meaning for its owner that was independent of the car itself. A low compression ratio and the resulting low thermal stress were what made the OM616 engine technically this durable. The designers of the OM616 deliberately limited this pressure and received its return years later. At the time, that decision was seen as overly cautious by other brands, but years later, when people looked at which engines were still running, it became clear that it had been the right choice. The fourth model, the M110 six-cylinder double overhead camshaft engine. The M110 engine was used in luxury Mercedes cars in the 1970s. For its time, this was a revolution in terms of technology, because a double overhead camshaft setup was mostly used in sports cars during the 1970s. Mercedes, however, used such an engine in a sedan. A collector in Sweden used a car equipped with this engine every single day for 19 years. The car managed to exceed 1,600,000 kilometers. The collector performed every maintenance himself and took notes every time he changed the oil. The notebook shows that he changed the oil 237 times. This car ran even through Swedish winters, cold starts, slippery roads, road salt. None of these were a problem for the M110 engine. What made the M110 engine special was its use of an aluminum cylinder head combined with a cast iron block. This pairing balanced heat distribution and reduced the risk of warping caused by thermal expansion. It had become a true engineering philosophy. The fifth model, the OM617 5-cylinder turbodiesel engine. Pay attention now. The story of the OM617 engine is different from the others. The OM617 was not merely durable, it was also an extremely reliable engine. Mercedes introduced this engine between 1974 and 1991. During that period, Mercedes taxi drivers across Europe and North America had come to regard the OM617 engine as a gold standard. In America, several cars were seen to have crossed 2 million kilometers. A taxi driver working in New York used a car with the OM617 engine for 20 years. The interesting part is that the engine was never subjected to any serious intervention. As the years passed, it was said that any taxi driver using the OM617 engine had job security. The secret behind this engine's durability is that the turbocharger pressure was deliberately kept low. Mercedes could have made this engine more powerful but chose not to. The reason is that lower pressure reduces stress on the turbine and the gaskets, and the engine runs for years without complaint. While this decision was seen as a disadvantage in terms of power figures in the short term, it gave birth to a legend in the long run. The sixth model, the M123 6-cylinder engine. This engine was used in the Mercedes W123 series. The Mercedes W123 went down in history as the world's most durable car, and you can see it in my other videos as well. There are still W123 taxis in Ethiopia that have been in service since the 70s and continue to run to this day. On the African continent, when parts for this car could not be found, people would manufacture new ones. The M123 engine was the gasoline version of this series. In Greece, a Mercedes W123 that never left a single family from day one was seen to have crossed 2,200,000 kilometers. The family used this car across 3 generations. The grandfather bought it, the father drove it, and the son realized that the engine had never needed a revision and drove it too. In an interview, the son said, "This car was like our 4th family member, a car that carried 3 generations, and the engine that powered that car received not a single complaint from any of those 3 generations." What made the M123 engine durable was not the widely used cast iron block construction. Its real secret was a low specific power load. The engine was not being pushed to produce more power than its capacity allowed. If we imagine a person in place of the engine, we could say this: a person working at 100% of their capacity is less healthy than a person working at 65%. The 7th model, the OM602 5-cylinder diesel engine. Most people do not know this engine, but the OM602 was the engine that kept the Mercedes G-Class on its feet. The G-Class was designed as an off-road vehicle, and the OM's 602 engine suited those cars perfectly. The G-Class vehicles were used for logistics purposes in the Middle East and Africa, and thanks to this engine, they managed to reach mileages ranging from 1,800,000 to 2 million kilometers. Data from Saudi Arabia shows that some military vehicles with the OM-602 engine ran for more than 30 years without complaint. Sand, extreme heat, desert conditions, the OM-602 engine saw none of these as an obstacle. What is more, most of these cars were used in places with no vehicle service available, meaning the engine had to manage on its own, and it did. The fundamental reason for the OM-602's remarkable durability was its high torque output and its design to operate at low engine speeds. An engine fitted to an off-road vehicle is designed for carrying loads, not for acceleration, and that difference translates into years of operation. The 8th model, the OM-603 six-cylinder inline diesel engine, used in the W124 body of the 300 series Mercedes, this engine perfectly managed to bring together size, performance, and durability at a single point. A person in Japan drove a car with the OM-603 engine for a full 24 years, and the car exceeded 2,300,000 kilometers. Yes, you heard that right. It is very clear that Japanese maintenance culture played a role in getting this far, but the engine also demonstrated its own capabilities in the face of that culture. The technical superiority of the OM-603 is rooted in its inline six-cylinder configuration. An inline six-cylinder naturally balances vibration compared to a V6. Less vibration means bolts and gaskets move less and last longer without failure. Over many years, these small differences accumulate and produce a figure like 2,300,000 kilometers. That Japanese man thought about selling the car, but later changed his mind and did not. And he said that the engine was more energetic than he was. That line deserves to be noted as one of the most beautiful owner comments in automotive history. The 9th model, the OM-604 four-cylinder diesel engine. You are probably hearing this engine's name for the first time. But this engine holds a special place among the buy it, drive it, forget about it engines in the used car market. Taxi statistics from Turkey and the Balkans can express what kind of engine this is without even needing to say it outright. A taxi cooperative in Turkey found in its research that cars sharing the same engine block had on average exceeded 1,400,000 kilometers. The OM-604 engine became so trusted in that world that some taxi drivers changed their cars, but kept the OM-604 engine and fitted it into a different body. The engine had become more valuable than the car itself. A taxi driver in Istanbul said that if he ever replaced this engine, he would be out of a job, and he was not joking. The technically interesting feature of this engine is the shape of the pre-combustion chamber. Small as that design detail may seem, it determined how the fuel mixture was distributed into the combustion chamber. In the OM-604 engine, this chamber was calculated to reduce pressure on the piston crown, and that calculation continued to work in the engine's favor for years on end. The engineers who made that calculation may not have lived long enough to see this outcome, but the taxi drivers on the streets of Istanbul bore witness to it on their behalf. The 10th model, the M119 8-cylinder engine. Here you encounter an unexpected name. The reason is that V8 engines have never been an intuitive choice for durability lists. More complexity, more parts, more heat. But the M119 engine shattered all of that. In Germany, a Mercedes S-Class vehicle running the original M119 engine was recorded to have reached 2,100,000 kilometers. The engine underwent 2 major services but was never rebuilt. The piston rings were never touched, The crankshaft remained unchanged. The car's last owner viewed this engine as a legacy. He believed the engine had existed before him and would continue to exist after him. What made the M119 engine so special was its dual oil pump system. Most engines run on a single pump and oil pressure drops at high revs. The M119 engine has a secondary system that ensures sufficient oil pressure under all conditions. Load distributed across countless parts, surfaces continuously bathed in oil, critical components kept away from heat sources. With this combination, the V8's weak point became a very strong one. Now we come to the 11th and final model, the OM617A turbo diesel. This engine is a little different from the others, and being in last place is what makes it so special. I need to talk about the A version of this engine specifically. Because this engine did not belong to a category, it created its own. I have a question for you. How many years do you think you could drive a car you bought in 1981? I would say until the 1990s, or maybe the 2000s at a stretch. But one man drove a Mercedes he bought in 1981 all the way to 2019. This happened in the state of Oregon in the United States. 38 years, the same car, the same engine. The odometer reached its limit several times and was reset. In the end, the calculated total distance came to over 3 million kilometers. Yes, you heard that right. The record on this list belongs to this marvel of engineering called the OM617A. Traveling from our world to the moon and back is 800,000 kilometers. I think you now understand what I mean. The car's owner never delayed any maintenance, never used anything other than original parts, and never pushed the engine hard. The owner did not see this car as a means of transportation. To him, it was a routine. When he started the engine in the mornings, the sound of the engine told him the day had begun. 38 years of hearing the same sound every morning. But the most important detail of all is that when this car was sold in 2019, the buyer purchased the car, not the engine, and is still driving it today. What made the OM617A engine immortal was the combination of a low compression ratio, a mechanical injection pump, and an internally cooled piston design. None of these could achieve something like this on their own. Only the three of them together keep heat buildup per cycle so low that the engine is able to protect itself for years on end. There is one thing all of these engines have in common. But it is not just the numbers, it is something more important than the numbers. None of them was the most powerful or the fastest of its era, but all of them were designed to run without problems for a long time. And that goal proved itself across millions upon millions of kilometers. Today, many engines may be more efficient, more powerful, and more technologically advanced, but as technology progresses, is durability progressing alongside it, or is it taking the place of something else? Let's discuss the answer to that question in the comments, and we have reached the end of the video. In this video, you saw 11 classic Mercedes engines, each more durable than the last. They all went down in history as legends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like. In the next video, I will be talking about 11 rare and iconic Mercedes vans that you need to see. You can subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about the new videos I prepare for you. See you next time.